You're listening to Wellbeing Wednesdays with Snez. I'm just about to go through a segment called How to Exercise When You Don't Like to Exercise. So, do you wish you were the kind of person that just loved exercise, but you're not? And you've got fitness professionals such as myself that love to say things like, oh, it makes you feel so good. It's so great for you. You should really be doing it. And you're like, going for a run and actually enjoying it, it's unfathomable. Or the gym, forget it. So, we're going to be talking about how do you exercise when you don't like to exercise. And firstly, I think it's really important to start to understand what some of the reasons are for not enjoying exercise, and then having a bit of a think about what do you define as exercise and what does that look like to you. And what I find that when I'm coaching people, when I'm working with people, that a lot of the time their idea of how much they should be doing is a lot more than what they should be. And a lot of people's ideas of how much exercise I do is usually a lot more than what I actually do. And it's about understanding where does the mindset come from, and what is it that's upsetting or that makes you not want to do the exercise. So for starters, it can be something as simple as the past experience. So if you've got a memory of being at school and feeling not so capable physically as the rest of the class, or feeling like you were always dragging behind or you didn't have the skill level, I can understand that. And definitely that is a reason why people would prefer to sit out and can associate exercise with not feeling capable. And I've heard people say that to me, that say, I wasn't one of the sporty kids. And it isn't about being a sporty kid at all. It's about moving your body more. The other thing, it can cause pain. So for some people, certain forms of movement can actually hurt. So if you've got an injury, or if you do have arthritis in joints, it can actually create more pain, which is something that you need to be able to then navigate around that and do activity that isn't going to be causing pain. And it's not something that we should be putting up with, because there is so many different options of what you can be doing, that you can find something that is going to give you the health benefits and not contribute to pain. Discomfort is another one, very different to pain. Discomfort is just that feeling that you might dislike when you are moving, or that feeling of breathing too hard, or your heart rate going, or getting sweaty. I know that people dislike that feeling. There's some of us that just love that feeling, but it can be uncomfortable. It can also feel uncomfortable participating in an activity that you're not familiar with and you feel uncoordinated. So definitely that feeling of discomfort plays a big part in wanting to do exercise and avoiding it. Also, perception is, what's your perception, your mindset around exercise, especially if you're treating it as a chore or something that you have to do, or if you're treating it as a punishment because you overate or you binged on chocolate or whatever it is. So it's about, how are you seeing the exercise? And I know with myself, it's my reward to myself, spending an hour with my body where I can stretch myself out and strengthen my body, and taking that time out to go for a walk or a jog. That is just such a lovely self-care thing that I can do for myself, because being mum and running business and lots of other things, I know I and a lot of people listening do so much for other people. So taking that for exercise, for me, taking that time out is about doing something for myself that I'm going to benefit from, and ultimately the family benefit as well, when we are in a better mood after doing some exercise. And also it's about identity. It's about not wanting to be sort of seen as the gym junkie, or not going into, wanting to be part of that culture of, the person that walks around in their active wear, or the person that's always got their water bottle, or whatever it is. It's just about perception and identity and how you want to be seen. And if being active and healthy is something that you've always sort of made fun of or laughed at or mocked, well, you're not about to be that person that now says, well, hey, I've just started at the local gym. So It's all of those things. And I think because of the true benefits of moving, not necessarily exercise, is so important to navigate beyond those things, but understanding that they are real aspects of and reasons that could be encouraging or discouraging you from participating in activity, and understanding what some of those reasons are for you, then you can work through it. And understanding that moving your body more isn't always about grueling activity. It is about starting gently until you get to a point where you can progress, and embracing exercise at a level that is comfortable. It does stretch you, it does make you lift your heart rate a little bit, but also knowing that as you start to move more, some of these feelings, especially some of those feelings of discomfort, do actually go, and you become used to them, and then you actually start to yearn for that feeling because it actually is a good feeling. So then what can we do to increase our activity levels? So the first thing is to, firstly, as an experiment, do nothing. So wake up one morning when you've got the luxury of time, you've got nowhere to be or nothing to do, just lay in bed all day and just see what it feels like. And I can tell you that after a couple of hours, you do want to move your body. You do feel like you want to stretch, and you do feel like you need to get up and move around a little bit. So an experiment of avoiding exercise is actually to give doing nothing a go and see what it feels like. And you probably will soon work out that it actually does feel nice to move. So it may not feel nice to exercise at a level of intensity that feels uncomfortable, and nor do you need to do that. So give that one a go. But then the top 5 strategies that I've got for you, the first one is stop trying to exercise. So if it's not your thing, it's your life. You have a choice. Stop feeling bad about that you should be exercising, and don't do anything. You have the right to choose how to spend your time and money, although saying this is absolutely making me cringe. But the reality is you can do nothing. That's a choice, and that comes with it a body in a certain condition. So you may or may not be happy with that, but you can make that choice to do nothing. That's actually the first strategy to get around. If you don't like to exercise, just don't exercise. So not really an exercise strategy, but it does remove a lot of pressure and stress. And I think as soon as we go, well, I'm just not going to do anything, then you'll naturally find that you'll probably go for a walk and just be active incidentally, and realize, hang on, actually moving feels good. I think that step is, or that tip is, just about cutting out the self-talk. Number 2 is aiming for movement rather than exercise. So many actions throughout the day, such as taking the dogs for a walk, or going to the supermarket, parking your car further, going out and taking the clothes out on the line, and maybe going for a walk around your front yard. So those mini movements and mini actions throughout the day accumulate to create activity. So we don't always necessarily need to think of exercise in a structured way. You can use your gardening and things like that. You could use lifting up a heavy wheelbarrow and pulling it across the garden and transporting dirt. That is all movement. So thinking about activities that you can include in your day with hobbies that you actually enjoy. So if it's gardening, then you could think about, moving things around and sort of making that a little bit more active. If you like to read, maybe thinking about walking to the local library to do your favorite activity, things like that. If you enjoy cooking, well, making the time to cook more and to be moving around the kitchen, and maybe even making some bread, which is quite a vigorous activity. So trying to find movement rather than exercise in your day is a really healthy way to look at increasing your activity day to day. Try different types of exercise. We don't always need to default to the gym, although that's my realm. I still always encourage people to try different things. It might be yoga, it might be dance, it might be a type of sport. You might want to take up lawn bowls or badminton or tennis. We're all inspired to play tennis at this time of year with the Oz Open on. The only thing that I would say about that is when you're thinking about exercise, always think of exercise in 2 groups. One is an activity that's going to increase your heart rate. So things such as walking, swimming, riding, running, boxing, dancing, those type of activities, and then activities that are going to work your muscles. So when you're lifting heavy things and holding things, so that would be in a gym setting, that would be your resistance training. In the garden, it would be lifting up bricks, lifting up bags of potting mix, things like that. And you might even want to pick it up and down 5 times before you actually move it across, just so that it's strengthening through your shoulders. So always when you're thinking about movement, still think about it in 2 categories, and that's getting your heart rate up and then also getting your muscles contracting and working against a force or something heavy. Number 4 is get help. And what I mean by that is not wanting to exercise is usually about not knowing what to do, being concerned about hurting yourself, being concerned about looking silly, being concerned about not even actually physically being able to do that particular activity. So getting help is a really, really great step, because you can be guided gradually to improve your skill level or your fitness or your strength with any particular activity. So whether you go and see a personal trainer, or whether you get some help with a basketball coach or a running coach, or whatever it is, get some swimming lessons maybe, or dance lessons, whatever it is, getting some help can really bridge that gap of not enjoying exercise. And then all of a sudden, like when I'm working with my members, it's amazing to see that they know that they want to start resistance training. They've had no experience of it. But then when they're guided through some basic exercises, it's quite an empowering feeling to go, oh, actually, this is doable. I can actually achieve this. I'm capable of doing this. So sometimes just getting help, and when you get help from a form of professional coach or teacher, what happens then is they can guide you at the right pace. Because a lot of the times I know that when people are starting to get active and move more, they do just want to go out and just do a really big long run, or they want to be able to swim 50 laps or whatever it is. And a coach or a teacher may help to put that into perspective and go, no, actually, I just want you to do these 3 movements 10 times each, twice a day, and then you can move on to something a little bit more advanced. So going gradually is really important. And the last one is giving yourself a 10-minute rule. And so what that means is trying something for at least 10 minutes. So if you know that you haven't been that active in your day, or you are wanting to increase the activity in your day, but you're a little bit concerned, try it for 10 minutes. So go for a walk and see how that feels for 10 minutes. Or if you're going to look up a yoga class online, give it 10 minutes and just see how you go for the first 10 minutes. Do some resistance training. Just give yourself a couple of exercises, maybe some squats, maybe some bench push-ups, maybe a shoulder press using a tea towel, but give it 10 minutes. Just give 10 minutes a go of any activity and just see how that feels. You do not need to go for a walk for an hour or an hour and a half to get the benefits. You can go for a 10-minute walk down the street, 5 minutes one way, 5 minutes back, and all of a sudden you've increased your level of activity, and you will experience benefits even from a short 10 minutes. So you don't have to love exercise. And this is the thought that I'm going to leave you with, is that you may not love exercise, but you may just do it for the health benefits, and you may come to a point of understanding with yourself that exercise is not your thing, but you are happy to put up with it and to put some time towards it, just so that you can experience the health benefits. And that's something that I know I definitely do. There are some things such as taking certain supplements, or say, for example, drinking green tea, which I really do not like, but I do have it daily because I know it's good for me. So there you go, how to exercise when you really do not like to exercise.